I'm delighted. I'm very grateful of the opportunity that it poses, and a big part of the opportunity for me is an ability to give back. I've been a member of the PCA for 19 years now, and they have been incredibly supportive and there ultimately in time of need. But since becoming a member and now, the transformation has been incredible. What the PCA can offer is not just in time of need, it is a constant in a professional cricketer's life. And given the landscape of the game at the moment and where the game could potentially go, I think young cricketers coming through need that support and help and guidance moving forward, because it's not always there. The game is going through a huge privatisation, and there are a lot of changes which can alienate players in many ways. So it's great to be part of that support. When I first considered it, I suppose understanding what the role is and how you can contribute is an essential part. And from my point of view, certainly having been recently retired and having quite a diverse changing room that I was a part of and captained, I think moving forward as part of the role will be an opportunity to continue to tell the story of that changing room and continue, in many ways, the culture that has been created at the PCA. And moving forward, although there might be a lot of changes in the game, the one constant will be the PCA in the background. So my contributions are around how the dynamic nature of the game and the constant travel of the players globally and the welfare can be supported. Yeah, here from my side of things, when I first started travelling overseas to the IPL, South Africa, the Caribbean, playing in these new tournaments, there was a completely different outlook in the global game, and particularly around English cricket. You weren't necessarily encouraged to go. That's 20 years ago. Where the game stands right now is in a really healthy position. I think the county game is absolutely thriving. The PCA members has increased quite dramatically this year, and just the fundamentals of opportunity for a young cricketer coming now and encouraged to go and play and almost learn, fail, and come back to where it first started. They're really supported in doing so. So to sit back and acknowledge that and be grateful for the health of the global game is really important. But the role the PCA plays in creating an infrastructure where players can feel secure enough to go and perform on and off the field, I think is incredibly important. Ultimately, the most important people in our game are the players. That has been the case pretty much the whole time, but I don't think it's been recognised for that long. I think when you look at the global industry of sport, any teams, both internationally and I suppose franchise-based, you go into recruitment or by association, it's always the most valuable thing is having the voice of the players or the support of the players. So when it comes to having that collectively, it really does powerfully send a message anywhere you go and what you do. And I think the PCA in doing so over the last 4 or 5 years under Rob Lynch, who has done an incredible job in both building the profile but also creating the stepping stone towards success and sustainability in many ways, has built a lot of trust with our players, which ultimately are the voice of the PCA. It's essential incredibly essential, because without a collective voice and unity amongst the players, none of the benefits that younger players coming through that are reaping the rewards of would really happen. And when it comes to negotiating, I suppose, fair contracts and well-being and just the general welfare of players, it has quite a dramatic effect when you can negotiate knowing you have the full support of the players, and that the PCA are speaking on their behalf and trying to do what's right and get the best deal ultimately for what the players want. So on two fronts, both collectively together being on the same page and trying to achieve the same goal, but also entrusting the PCA leadership group and executive to get the job done. Yeah, it's unbelievably exciting where our game is at the moment. A lot of our chat around PCA subjects are always around challenges amongst the game, but quite honestly, since I took up the game, I don't think it's ever been more popular or been in a better space, both financially and welfare-wise. You see the growth, not only around the world, but at home, has been unbelievable, particularly in the women's game. The introduction of the 100 has led to exponential growth in the women's game, and it is just continuing to grow at a rate, actually, where the infrastructure is struggling to catch up. So again, the PCA can play a fundamental part in merging alongside the growth of the game to create an infrastructure that will facilitate all the female aspiring cricketers, whether current or past, to try and do what's right for the game. Yeah, it's obviously challenging, and I think it's quite a timely question, because everybody's attitude this time of the year coming into our summer is always very optimistic, full of energy, and ultimately excited about our home summer. But the most fluid way, I think, of dealing with it is keeping our ears and eyes open moving forward to a solution as to what the best case scenario in creating a system that allows a young cricketer to come through with an ambition of playing for England, whereby they can train, perform, fail, learn in an environment that doesn't hamper their dreams of representing their country. What that system is at the moment, I don't have an answer for. I do think that we haven't got it right up until now. So my advice would be to keep eyes and ears open moving forward, to try and be as fluid if a change comes for the betterment of the younger cricketer coming through, but ultimately us as a country. There is no doubt that we have an unlimited amount of talent in English cricket, both men and women. Making the most of that talent is the challenge for the administrators.